Computer. Okay, welcome everybody. My name is Salandia Hammond, also known as Sue Ham Baby. And this is another awesome class that we have sponsored by the Sue Ham CDC and the South Carolina Arts Commission. We have an amazing instructor who has over a decade of experience. I know you're looking at her. She looks so beautiful and young. You wouldn't think that, but she does. She happens to be a native of Williamsburg County, so I'm extremely excited to have her here. Her name is Miss Chasity Pendergrass. She's worked at the esteemed WBTW Channel 13, which covers South Carolina and North Carolina, and has been listed, I think, in the top 30 news stations for a number of years. So that's an amazing accomplishment. Chasity was a producer there. What a lot of people don't know is that Chasity gave me my first opportunity to actually be on TV. So I'll never forget that, ever, 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 ever. And not to make this political or anything, but in the news media realm, it's very rare that we see African-American women, African-Americans, period, in the producer seat. And as we go into this class, we'll learn why that's so important, because a lot of people try to get to the talent in front of the camera when it's really the people behind the camera, such as the producers like Chasity. Now, Chasity, you have a master's in public relations, is that correct?
A master's actually in human resources that I'm not using. Not yet.
But I guess in a sense you are, because you're a people person, so you're using the resources, the people.
Right.
But you now work with the city of Myrtle Beach, and this, for those of you who do not know, Myrtle Beach, which is really one of the biggest attractions in the United States, and Chasity happens to be the public relations officer. Did I get your title right?
Yes.
Which is, again, a phenomenal feat. And I am so excited for her. Chastity's under 40 years old. I'm not going to tell you her actual age, but she's under 40 years old. She came from Williamsburg County, and she's accomplished such great things. At this time, what I'm going to do, Chastity, is I'm going to toss it to you. You can tell them a little bit more about your history, and then we'll get started on this amazing class.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sue, for that introduction. I mean, I said, is that me? Oh, good girl. You made me sound very, very good. My name is Chasity Pendergrass. I am from King Street, Williamsburg County. And I went to Claflin University. I have my undergraduate degree from Claflin in mass communications. And then following that, I started with WBTW News 13 as a part-time, at that time, part-time tape editor. So we had to use the old school tape-to-tape editing machine to edit the video together. So that was my first job in TV. And then I just moved on up from there, worked hard, worked overtime, worked somebody else's hours to learn what I could learn so that I could build something for myself. And then as I moved up in the ranks, I said, hey, I don't think I want to do this forever. Let me put something in my back pocket. So then I went to grad school. I thought I wanted to be in human resources. Again, I'm not really using that degree. At some point, I'll probably use it, maybe in my own business, I'll use it. And so I got my graduate degree in human resources. And then I thought I needed to get out of news because I was very tired of it. And that's what I did. That's when I went to the city of Myrtle Beach, got a position there, and I've been there since 2015. I've been with the city of Myrtle Beach in the public information department. And most recently, going back to school again, I just finished at the SHB International Hair Academy. I am almost certified esthetician. So I'm working on that. I got one part of the test done. I got to take the other part to get my certification. So I'm into skincare and makeup. So when you go on TV, you can call me. I can walk you through your makeup, or guess what? I can come to you.
Good deal. That's what I'm talking about. Good deal, good deal, good deal. So again, Chastity, you've taught this class before in person, but with COVID right now, we're doing the virtual thing. And not only have you taught this class before, but you've helped people all across the United States. You don't necessarily have to live in your backyard to be able to employ these tactics or the things that you can do for people. And I know everyone that's on here is probably excited, ready to get started. And for those of you that may be watching the replay, Get ready, get ready, get ready. So with your permission, I'll go ahead and start the PowerPoint.
Right. Okay. So the first thing I want to talk about is the importance of a press release. Some people think you could word of mouth everything. Yeah, that's good. Word of mouth, it still works. It surely does. But it's important to have a document to give people or a document to send people. And you can also put that on your website. People need to know, they need to have concrete information about what you're doing, what you're selling, what event you're having. So you want to be able to present that to them. A press release announces the new product or service or your event. It gives all of the information about it. It provides key information about it because that's what's important. People need to know what's going on, what time it's happening, what the event will do, what your service or product does. So you want to make sure they could get their hands on that information very easily. Can you go to the next slide, Sue? I think. Right. Okay. So, and then did we have any questions about that? About the importance of a press release? So, every time we do something, people always want to know how much something costs. You can go to the next slide too. The cost is very important. And people don't realize that a press release it's kind of expensive. It could be expensive. It just depends on who you're asking to do it for you. You can even do it for yourself. Per hour, a press release could be $30 per hour on the low side, or the average is $80 per hour. On the high side, it could be upwards of $180. Go to the next slide, Sue. So it just depends on what you're getting, what you're asking the writer to do, and how you want it done. But it's up to you how you choose your price point and your vendor or your writer for your press release. And you can break this down into per project as well. It could be on the low side, $125. The average could be $700. And the high side is normally upwards of $1,500. Again, this price is not set in stone. These are just ballpark prices. Just wanted to give you some kind of example so that you will know when you start preparing your press releases or start asking someone to prepare it for you, you will know what your cost could end up being. And if, as the slide indicates, if you're a freelance writer, you can set your own price and the client can choose if they want to pay that price or not. So when you send out a press release, a lot of times you need to have a headshot with it, because especially if people don't know who you are, you want to have your headshot. You can go to the next slide, Sue. You want to have your headshot so people can have some type of visual of who you are and what you're going to do. So these are shots of professionals, and these are good headshots. They're lit well. The subject in the headshots are wearing great colors, and that's something you want to remember to do. Make sure you have great colors, bright colors, blue, pink, orange, something like that that will catch the eye when you're on TV and when you're doing your headshots. It's not really a good thing to wear white. You can wear it, but it's harder to light white. So you don't want to give your photographer a hard time getting you lit well. So you want to stay away from white when you're doing a professional headshot. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you want to just think about considering wearing red, pink, power color, blue, royal blue, green, all those things. They make a better headshot. I think the color just pops more. And the lighting. Make sure the lighting for your headshots are very good. And that's something that your photographer should be able to take care for you. And if you're not, maybe you can't afford to pay a photographer, you really can do some of this stuff yourself. You can get a ring light. You can just stand in a very well lit area in your home, or if you take it outside, of course, you can use the natural light and take your own or have somebody else take it for you. These phones are very high tech. If you have a nice camera, you can get one of your friends or family to take it for you. You just want to make sure that your headshot looks good and it doesn't look tacky, because it says a lot about you. Okay, the next slide has some pictures of some headshots that we do not want. We don't want to see these ever if they're professional. We don't want a headshot that has too much headroom. Like the first one, it makes you look shorter if you have too much headroom in your picture. And the middle one is not well lit at all. It's very dark. So, you know, that's kind of a special effect headshot. That's not really a headshot that you would want to send out to the media unless you're doing some type of movie type thing, or, you know, something that's special. It's not just an ordinary headshot. And baby, these duck lips, we're not going to have these. That's not professional at all. We don't want to do that. And you know what else I don't like? Those car selfie headshots. That's just with social media. That is not to be going to anything professional or to put on your professional page. Don't put duck lips and car selfies, all those things on professional pages. You can use it on social media all you want, but if you're trying to get an interview or you're trying to send something out about your business, you want to have a standard professional headshot. So the next thing we want to talk about is graphics for television. That's very important. If you're pitching an interview request to a producer, you want to have supporting graphics for it. And that could be your flyer, that could be pictures from a previous event. It even could be video. If it's video, make sure it's not too shaky or too dark or anything like that. Make sure it's edited nicely. And guess what? If you don't have anyone to edit, you really can edit it yourself. If you have an iPhone, you can use iMovie to edit your stuff. That's what I use a lot of times. If you don't have an iPhone, I think there is some type of app on the Android that you could use as well. You could, if you don't have the money to go to a production company or to someone who does production, you really can do these things for yourself until you get to a point where you can hire someone to do it for you. So don't use that as an excuse. Don't say, oh, well, I ain't got no money for that, so I'm just not going to do it. Well, practice. You can practice on your phone, and you could really produce a product that looks pretty professional right from your phone if you really pay attention and practice. Be sure that your graphics are ready to submit to the producer when you submit your press release. You don't want to piece together information to a producer, because producers are very busy, and they are very easy to get frustrated because they're responsible for a lot of things. They're responsible for the show as a whole. They're responsible for all of the anchors. It could be 2, it could be 3. They're responsible for the reporters that are out in the field. Sometimes it could be 3 to 5 per show. They have to make sure all those people are staying on task. They're responsible for all the people that are behind the scenes. Of course, they're responsible for themselves, but they're responsible for the editor. They're responsible for the director. They're responsible for kind of responsible for the news director, because you want to make sure that person is happy, because if your news director is not happy with you, then you could be facing some stiff consequences. So you want to make sure everybody is doing the right thing. And then at the same time, you have calls and text messages and more press releases, more news coming in all at the same time to that one producer who has to do get the whole show together. So you don't want to piece together information. You want to put everything together and submit it all at once. Let me tell you from experience, anybody who presents their stuff professionally all at once, and I have had everything I need for the show, they were more likely to get booked, because we don't have time to be chasing you down about your stuff. And that's why we had Sue Ham on the show lots of times. Almost every time she sent in her stuff, we booked her, because we had everything we need and we could just copy and paste. That's what the producer does when it's feature stories or events that's going on in the community. They want things that's already done where they could just copy and paste it into the rundown, and then they can make minor edits as they go along. And they could also put it on the website. And that's a big thing. If you don't get booked with a producer on TV or doing it Zoom now, a lot of television stations are doing Zooms for people because they don't want people in and out due to COVID. So if you don't get booked on TV, sometimes the television station or the producer or whoever does the web design, they will put your information on the website, which is still good because thousands and thousands of people visit the website, all media websites. So your stuff is still getting out to people. So don't be dismayed if you don't get booked. I know you want to be on TV, but if you're getting some kind of exposure and it's free exposure, it just takes you doing a little bit of work on the front end. You're still getting something done. And the last thing that I want to remind you is that when you get booked, if you have the correct graphics, or you have your video, or you have a copy of your flyer, or you have pictures, something visual, if it's nice, the producer will make sure that that information is coming up while you are on the air. So people will be able to see pictures of your previous event that you had, or they will be able to see pictures of your book or your book signing or whatever it is you are trying to engage the community and trying to get someone to take a look at. People like to see things, so make sure, it's very important, make sure you have nice things for people to see, not something that's crumpled up, not something on a brown paper bag. No, make sure it's professional, it's nice and neat. That's very important. And I'm telling you, you will get booked if you follow those instructions. So that's all I have. I didn't want to make it too long because I know this is Zoom. That's all I have right now. Oh, here we go. These are some graphics from Sue Ham's interviews, from Sue Ham's events. So you see how colorful they are? They are beautiful. They are nice. Now, wouldn't you want to go to that play? That is just very nice. The graphics, it looks professionally done. It is professionally done. It has all the pertinent information. I've seen some flyers, guys, and the flyers has so many colors and stuff on there, you can't find where the event is going to be held. So why are you doing the flyer? You don't need every person in your community on the flyer. You don't need to put Beyonce. Beyonce not going to be there. Why is she on the flyer? Don't do that. Make sure your flyer reflects what you're doing. That's very important. That's all I have. And this is, I didn't know that was in there. This was somebody else's press release that I did. Now, she provided the graphics, but I did her press release for her. The colors are bright, it's presentable, it looks professional, it has all the pertinent information. These people that are on her flyer were actually at her event. So that's very important. So those are the graphics that I have for you guys. I hope if you have any questions, I'm available, or if we're ready to turn it over to Sue to provide some information, however you want to do it, Sue.
I was in here cracking up when you said I'm trying to show my video. When you about the duck lips, I was cracking up. And then you said, "Why is Beyonce on your flyer?" And she's not gonna.
Y'all know she's not coming.
That is so true. That's very important because a lot of people don't understand that, and it's not a good thing. So at this time, guys, before we go into the next segment, I'm gonna see if there are any questions. If you got any questions, just unmute yourself. No questions?
Nothing yet from me.
Okay, Moretta got a thumbs up. So Erica, because you've never been on, right? Well, I'll just keep going. We'll keep going. All right. So let's share the screen again and go from there. All right, so hopefully you guys can see the screen. Again, I'm Sue Ham, and I'm just going to be talking to you today about pitching the media, which Chasity has done so well. Again, like she gave me my first opportunity to be on TV in 2010. And I have to say to this, I know as a producer, because I produce stage plays, that so much is in your hands. I didn't realize that as a news TV producer that they were responsible for so much. So hence the reason why it's so important to make sure you have everything in a row, why that press release has to be tight. So I want to tell you, Chasity told you what you needed, which was a press release. And I'll show you an example of a press release here in a second. But what I want to tell you is how to find different media outlets, because what I found is that a lot of people don't know where to go. If you are new to me, you may not have known that I've actually had the pleasure of being on the Steve Harvey Show twice. I've been on 7 different media outlets, and I'll show some pictures of that. And a lot of those with the media outlets here in Myrtle Beach, Charleston, Columbia, Chasity has actually gotten me booked by doing the press release and actually sending out the emails to those news stations to get me on there to talk about our events. When it came to Steve Harvey getting national appearance, a lot of people think that it's just too hard. And it's really the same process, to be honest with you, as far as the material that you have to present. You have to tell them who you are. It's like the who, what, when, where, and why. Who you are, what is it that you're presenting, where is it going to be, what is the date, and why should people want to come to this? So for example, we did our stage play Beautiful Minds, and it was during the month of October, which was National Anti-Bullying Prevention Month. And so Chasity did a press release for me and pitched it to the local media. And of course, she told them who I was. She told them that what it was about is a stage play about anti-bullying, which coincides with, again, October National Anti-Bullying Month, Bullying Prevention Month. And where it was going to be was in King Street, South Carolina. And why, and who should attend? People should attend who've been bullied. People should attend who don't quite understand bullying. People should attend if they're looking for solutions to prevent people from bullying and also to help those heal from bullying. And because it was during the month of October, we were able to get on so many different media outlets because when you have an event tied to a cause, whether it's a community cause or whether it's a national cause, the news outlet, whether it be radio, TV, or print, and when I say print, I mean the newspaper, they are more prone to put you on there. And I'm always trying to think of a cause because I'm a community activist, but also I'm a media attention seeker because I want my brand to be out there, but not just have my brand out there. I want to help as many people as I can. So with Steve Harvey, I got on that show by doing different videos that actually went viral. And what I did actually was I actually reached out to the Steve Harvey Show. A lot of people don't know that. They think that Steve Harvey's show reached out to me. Well, you got to think, like Chasity just said, producers are extremely busy. Yes, you do have some combing the web looking for things, but for the most part, most of their stories are coming to them, or either it's already made national attention. And so they're just reaching out to you. It's national. CNN is featuring it, Fox is featuring it, Oprah is featuring it. So of course they're going to feature you as well. I actually Googled the Steve Harvey Show, And of course, you know, Steve doesn't have his show anymore. He's actually on Facebook Watch doing the show. Googled it, went to his website, and actually there was a tab that said, be on the show. And I'm gonna actually take you to the real website because, again, Steve no longer has that show. And I want to actually show you what this actually looks like. So we'll start sharing our screen again. And I want to actually show you how you can go to get national appearances. As soon as I can see how to share my screen again. Where did that bad boy go? Oh, wow. What do you guys actually see on? Oh, there we go. Lord. Okay. There we go. So we're on the real website right now. And you can actually see they have, if you look at the home keys, the menu keys, you have home, episodes, videos, photos, tickets, be on the show, right? A lot of people tend to look over that. But if you're looking to get national appearance, that's actually the tab that you want to click on. So for the Steve Harvey Show, that's exactly what I did. I clicked on Be on the Show. And to be a part of the show, these are the generalized topics that they have. So of course, I didn't want to go in there about relationships or money or family or lifestyle. So when I was requesting to be on the Steve Harvey Show, I clicked on general. And with the general, they had different things. If you want to talk about early voting, let's see. I don't know, my computer, did it go there? I don't think it did. Well, let's just go to family. So with family, these are the different things that you could talk about. So let's just say if my video was viral and it was talking about family members, you know, maybe I despise my family members. And so what I did was I actually went to the Steve Harvey Show, and mine actually was a beatboxing show. And I actually went there and I said, okay, I want to share my story. So you click on share your story. And it was simply a questionnaire. That's all it was. And all I did was put in my basic information, stated that I was over 18 years old, gave them my address, gave them my name. And then at this time, I could upload my photo, which Chasity was just telling you about how important a headshot is. And then I could upload a video. Now, the video that I uploaded happened to be the beatboxing video that actually went viral. So I uploaded that video and I told them a little bit about it. Of course, here again, specifying if you're 18 years or older, and boom, send the submission. Something that could take you 3-4 minutes could get you national TV appearance. I sent the submission, and I think it was like 30-45 minutes later, I got a call from one of the producers of the Steve Harvey Show, and I thought it was a hoax. And she said, no, didn't you just send in your request to be on the show? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, okay, yeah, we like the video. She was like, we're going to actually send it up to 2 more producers. There was like 3 levels of producers. Chastity, for local TV, how many levels of producers are there? Is it 1, 2, 3?
It's not really levels. It's just typically each show has its own producer. So there's a producer for the morning show. If they have a mid-morning show, that's usually a different producer. Then a noon producer, 5, 6. If you have a 7, it's another producer for that. And of course, the 11 o'clock producer. Sometimes if they're short of people, they have to do double or triple shows. I've done that too. So it's not really levels. It's just different shows have different producers.
Well, with the Steve Harvey Show, and that is true, because I remember you put me on different shows and I had to deal with different producers. But with the Steve Harvey Show, at this particular time, they had 3 levels. First line level, she approved me. So second level, they approved me. But however, when it got to the third and final approval, it was like, nah, not gonna happen. So of course, I was a little saddened by that. The producer she then did tell me, hey, look, we'll keep your video on file. We'll keep your information. And if we find anything that, you know, you align with, we'll give you a call. So in my mind, I'm like, you're right. You're the Steve Harvey Show. You've got all kinds of people pitching you and whatnot. Y'all not going to give me a call. So here's a lesson I want you to learn in that. I have the contact information now, the telephone number and the email. So because she said she was going to keep my information and give me a call, which I knew wasn't going to happen, I took it upon myself to continually pursue her. So periodically I would send emails and I would send different videos about what I was doing, whether it was funny videos, whether it was motivational videos, or whether it was videos about business. I would actually go back to their website and fill out the Be on the Show form and send in a new video and da 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 da. And then I would actually go to her email and send it to her that way, because now I had her email and her phone number. So I wanted to cover all the bases, do it online, the legit way, and then actually do it through her email. Well, lo and behold, 2 years later, the Steve Harvey Show actually contacted me and said, okay, hey, we remember about 2 months ago, you were going to be on the show for beatboxing. And I was like, yeah, okay, yeah. But it was actually 2 years ago. and, and they were like, well, we have a segment that came up. So it's funny because I don't know, because it wasn't the same producer. So, and that's the reason why I say keep pitching them with the website, and also keep pitching them with the email, because it was a different producer that reached out. It was a male this time. And I think his name was Norman, if I remember correctly. And he said, well, we want to bring you back on the show, giving some advice and whatnot, doing the beatbox thing. And I was like, because it was 2 years later and I had really shifted my brand, and I really didn't want to go on the Steve Harvey Show beatboxing, right? Not to millions of people. I didn't want my first appearance on the Steve Harvey Show to have me beatboxing. So anyways, Norman was guiding me through the process, and he said, hey, we're going to have our head producer call you. He's going to vet you because this is a very important show. I said, okay, no problem. So the second producer called me and he said, hey, yeah, you were supposed to be on the show like 2 months ago, with the beatboxing video. Well, we don't want to do that anymore with the beatboxing. And I was like, yes, yes. I was like, yes. He was like, we want to bring you on, and we want to bring you on as more like a life coach, giving advice to a young lady who's having relationship problems. And I was like, whoa. So then that's where the vetting process began. He started asking me different questions, just checking my temperature, seeing how I would respond, because it's very important to producers that you speak well, that you can think on your feet, and that there are not a lot of or the one word, or I know something that producers and anchors hate is the one word answer. They don't want to hear just like yeah, no. So it's supposed to be like a conversation,
Right.
when you're doing these interviews. And so lo and behold, I passed the test and I made it to the Steve Harvey Show in 2016. When I was leaving, I said to my sister, and I said to my friend Maurice, I said, I'll be back. I didn't know what made me say that, but I just felt like I would be back. While I was there, I had great communications with the other producers, which is another important tip. You have to get in good with the producers. They're the one that's going to put you on the show or say no. So I was smiling, I was upbeat, I was just being my natural self. It wasn't phony, but it actually connected with people. So, and with the producer that brought me on, Norman, I had his email and I had his telephone number. And he said to me, and I believed him this time because I made it to the show. He said, Sue, if we have anything else, we'll let you know. Well, 2 months later, I get a call from Norman and he says, hey, Sue, we got another show coming up. And do you have any teenage kids? And in my mind, I was saying, if I didn't, you wouldn't know. But luckily, I did have teenage kids, because I was like, if that was the criteria to get on the show, I'm going to tell you, yeah, I got teenage kids. I said, yeah, I do have teenage kids. He said, hey, well, there may be a possibility as a producer. She's looking for someone to fill in on a guest panel. And I thought of you. Ding, 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 ding. Make an impression, build relationships, and that's how you get to come back. That's exactly what's happened with Chasity. Chasity always tells me, make sure you're on time, because the anchors and the other producers are looking at that, and, be courteous and kind and upbeat. They're taking all of that into account as to whether or not they want to invite your energy back onto their show. So, Chasity, I learned well. So, and I implemented well.
Yes, you did. They were asking for you. When's Sue Ham coming back? I'm like, oh, goodness, she coming back. Don't worry. We need her energy. I mean, and you always came at a good time when there was something going on in the newsroom, and we were just like, oh, dang, I don't want to talk about this foolishness. Sue Ham gonna be here at 10:30. She gonna light this thing up.
Well, I remember that when I went to Chicago to the Steve Harvey Show. And so I got called back by the producer, Norman, who was actually pitching me for another producer. And so the other producer called me, and again, they vetted me, and she said, well, hey, we'll let you know if we're going to use you, because this stuff moves real fast, guys. So you got to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. I'm talking, I think they called me on like a Wednesday night, I believe. And I said, yeah, I'll do it. And they said, okay, yeah, we'll do you. Okay, what's your information? You're flying out on Friday, you know? So I'm talking about moving quick, getting my hotel room. They did all that. They did all my transportation. They did my flight. They did my baggage. All I had to do was be in place. I had to be ready to move. So that's how I ended up on the Steve Harvey show twice. Now, I know a lot of people are probably saying, well, I don't have a viral video. And I get that. I get that. But what I wanted to show you was how to go and pitch the media nationally. So if you don't have a viral video, here's some things that I want you to do. Let me show the screen here. I want you to, and before you do that, let me just tell you. So the tips that we covered in that story was befriending producers, having a good headshot, which is what Chasity talked about. Getting to know other producers, because I met Norman on the Steve Harvey show. I then met other producers on the Steve Harvey show. And I told him, I said, hey, whatever you do, wherever you go, hey, I'm always available to do media. Please hit me up, you know. But you can also Google local TV and radio shows, as well as magazines and newspapers. They're always looking for stuff. So I want to show you real quick too, hopefully it's not too blurry. That's a copy of my release that Chasity did that actually got me booked on, I don't know, about 5 or 7 different TV shows. And basically just saying that my organization was putting on an actors workshop, where it was, which was in King Street, South Carolina. The date when was February 9th, and the time from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Who was coming? Carl Kennedy, which he's been seen on several different shows, and who was sponsoring it. And then what Chasity does in her press releases that I love, because it also adds credibility to the producers when they're watching it, is she tells a little bit about the person who is coming on the show. And that also gives the producers, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chasity, it also gives the producers a good warm feeling to get to know more things about you, but it also helps them to introduce those things into the interview, because there have been times where they'll be like, so you're also a motivational speaker. And I'm like, oh, okay. You're reading the press release for real then, okay. So, right. So, and it took me a little while, but I kind of caught on to it, Chastity. I was like, oh, that's why she does it. It's to build up my credibility, give them a warm and fuzzy that I've done this before, but also to give them more talking points for the interview.
Right.
So, because there have been times where a guest may not have shown. There may be a show that I was supposed to be on that had 4 guests, and maybe one guest didn't show. So guess what? I get extra minutes on TV.
Right. Because you have your stuff together. Be prepared. I speak that all the time, not just for this, for anything that you're doing. Be prepared, have your stuff ready, because you don't know when you're going to get that call or that email. Have your stuff ready, people. I'm telling you, it's very important.
Absolutely. Good deal. So that's just a copy. And as you can see, it's not anything difficult. It's not anything hard. It's really, really, really simple. Here's another example. Hopefully you guys can see this. Let me make this big. Is that better? There's another example. I just took out the body of it. And one of the things that I noticed that Chasity does when she's sending out my press releases is that she'll include this whole body that you see on the screen. She'll include it into the actual email itself, and then she will attach it as a PDF. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Chasity, but I think the reason that you do that is because sometimes producers don't have time to download the attachments. They just want to read what it is that this person is about. And if they're interesting enough, then they'll go ahead and download the attachments. Is that correct?
Right, that is correct.
Okay. So, and as you can see, again, we're talking about my organization, when and where. October 29th, we were doing a stage play. At the very top, PD Playwright offers scholarships and announces new stage plays. Offers scholarships. Okay. Doing something for free. That's going to get you media coverage like it's nobody's business, because you're helping the community. Can you speak to that, Chasity? Why the media looks to feature positive and free stuff for the community?
Well, it's like you said, it's very helpful to the community. And anytime you can give something like a scholarship, it's helping someone else. So they look at it and they say, well, they just don't want to get on TV for free. They want to help other people too. And something that's a little bit related to that, if you are doing an event and you're charging admission, if you were to give a portion to a nonprofit organization, that also helps you get booked as well. Now, don't say you're going to give these people the money and you don't give them the money. You have to really collab with the people and give it to the people. Don't say you're going to give it to the Susan G. Komen and then you keep it all and go to Ross now. Don't do that. Give it to the right people you say you're going to give it to.
And my next question to you is, let's say, and this is something I'm asking for myself, guys, because I've always wanted to know this. Let's just say you do the scholarships and you give it away. Is there a way to come back on and show them, hey, we presented this award, or can you just send pictures and that could be featured later without you even being there? Just a picture of you saying that you did what you actually did. So in essence, it's a second appearance without you appearing the second time.
Right. That could definitely happen. And I believe we may have done that, or we talked about doing it before. If you do something like that, if you're giving away a scholarship, make sure just follow up with the TV station or the radio station or the newspaper and say, hey, you remember I was on your show such and such time and we gave away the scholarship. This is the person who received it. Here are 2 pictures from the scholarship event that we did, or the scholarship check that we presented. I don't know if you have time on your show, but I wanted to share that with you. Sometimes they don't have time on the show, but they will put it on their website. Remember, we talked about that. If it goes on the website, it's still reaching thousands and thousands of people. So you're not losing at all.
So let me ask you this. Let's shift it a little bit. If we're not giving away free scholarships, but we did a free festival, for example, we did a festival to uplift the morale in our community. Can we then send something back to the TV stations and say, hey, here's some pictures of the actual event where we've got a diversity of, different age groups, sex, ethnicities, and they're all having a great time here in this community at this free event. Would you guys be willing to feature something like that too?
Right. And you can always do that. Make sure, like I said, make sure you have good pictures, nice, beautiful colors. People, make sure the people look nice in the pictures and make sure their faces don't have these strange faces. Make sure you don't have cigarettes hanging out your mouth and all these crazy things people like to do. They want to see positivity. That's what they want to see. And they really want to see a crowd. I know we haven't been doing that lately with COVID, but when it's a crowd of people, people look happy, they're having fun, it's positive. That's what people want to see.
Awesome. So let's shift into what's newsworthy. And don't worry, guys, I'm going to tell you what you can do if you don't have a viral video or a humongous event where you're bringing in, I don't know, like a Beyonce, how you can still get some credibility to your name and get some coverage. But let's talk about what's newsworthy. For me, in the past, what has garnered me TV appearances, it's partnering with my sister, Shanika Hammer Brown, where she used to do her hair show. And with that hair show, she would give out scholarships, but she would also bring in industry people that were in the hair industry as well as in the entertainment industry to perform. And a lot of times the news deemed that newsworthy. Of course, being on the Steve Harvey show, that's a no-brainer. Then also I was in a movie, that's a no-brainer. But there have been things that has nothing to do with entertainment related or celebrity. There have been things like, as I just stated, a free acting class. My nonprofit agency doing a free acting class, that was newsworthy. Or the fact that I wrote a book, that was newsworthy. Or the fact that I was helping out with a festival, that was newsworthy. Chasity, because you have so much more experience than myself, can you tell us what's newsworthy, what will help you to get on TV?
And the first thing, like you just said, free, anytime you're doing something for free, something positive and free for the community, that is newsworthy, that will get you on. Things like health seminars, things that make people better, improve people's health or wellness, things like that. Anything that's entertaining, if it's funny and positive, that will get you on. Of course, scholarship, if you're giving away money to a good cause, all of that, newsworthy. Um, Helping young people, like if you're doing tutoring sessions, or you're going into the schools and you are providing some type of service to the young people, that's newsworthy. If you're helping the elderly, that's newsworthy. So things like that. Producers look at different things, and like you said, when you can connect it with a cause or something that's going on in the world at that time, that's newsworthy. They could always have you on as, we used to call it, like a sidebar um, interview, but it still connects to something that's actually happening in the world around us.
So even as, and I'm glad you said that, because even as like someone could be an expert in towards motivation, and you could be doing a piece on depression, you could actually bring in someone who is a speaker, who's deemed themselves as a motivational speaker. They could actually do a piece on something like that. And vice versa, even with in COVID, having someone come in and speak about COVID, as well as politics, you know, having a political consultant. These are different things that could be newsworthy. Because one of the things I don't want people to think, you know, I'm giving you my experience, which is the entertainment world, and writing books and classes, and that's how we're able to get on TV. But there's, just think about the people that you see on TV, what they're talking about, how they are contributing. Those type of things are newsworthy. Would you say so, Chastity?
Yes. And always remember, when you're pitching your ideas to the producer, what you're pitching may not be on the 6 o'clock news. We understand that, because there are um, different shows. So you can be on another show. It doesn't matter. If you get booked, you can continue to use that video over and over. It doesn't matter if you weren't on the 6 o'clock, you were on the noon show. I believe you were on the 10 p.m. show, Sue. You may have been on the 5. And guess what? Guess what you did? You were able to use that video and promote yourself later. You don't have to be on the 6 o'clock show. You might look at the 6 o'clock show and say, well, what am I going to do on there? That they're not talking, all they're talking about is killing people and people dying. They're not going to even look at my stuff. Don't think about it that way. It's other producers, it's other shows. You could get featured on other shows. And something else I want to share with you, if a TV station has like a mid-morning show, like a 9 or 10 o'clock show, you may fit better into that, because if you're talking about some kind of health or wellness, those type of shows are kind of created and dedicated to stay-at-home moms or stay-at-home dads. And now we're into this COVID and we're doing hybrid learning and all of this. A lot of people are at home. A lot of moms and dads are at home, and they could take the time to get away from the virtual learning and log on or watch TV for a little while their kid is doing whatever they need to do on the internet to get their virtual learning in. So don't be discouraged when you look at the 6 o'clock news and you say, oh Lord, what I'm trying to do, that's just not going to fit. Reach out to some of the other stations or some of the other shows, and you may fit into that category.
That's a really, 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 really great point. I'm glad you said that. So, Sue, I don't have a viral video on out there to pitch national or local media. So how do I get something? Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, and Chastity can tell me if I'm wrong, but most people, before they put you on their chair, before they allow that TV screen to focus on you, and even if you're doing radio, before they allow that mic to be turned on, hot mic, they want to make sure that you can speak well, that you can present clear thoughts. So one of the things that I tell people is create your own interview, your own video, stage it. Like Chastity said, you have an iPhone, you have an Android, which I'm sorry if you have an Android, but pick up your picture camera phone, and actually do your own interview. So if you wrote a book, do a 3-4 minute interview as to speaking to maybe one chapter in the book, or speaking to like 2 or 3 topics in the book, and as to why it can help someone. And now you've got an interview that you can put on your website, that, or if you don't have a website, if you have YouTube, that you can actually send in when you're sending your press release. And now producers actually have something that they can look at and hear to make sure that you're not going to embarrass them on their show. For example, when I ran for political office, Ms. Marretta and I, we did an interview in my studio, and we then took that interview and we put it all over social media, and we got a lot of eyeballs on it, probably like 15, 17,000 eyeballs on it. But here's the thing, we did that interview, we staged it because we knew the citizens had a bunch of questions, and we wanted to answer their questions. And it was during COVID season. So we went into the studio, turned on the cameras, shot it, and then dispersed it to social media. So if you don't have a viral video, if you feel like, no, I don't have content that's going to get me booked, you're absolutely wrong. Just create your own video, 2-3 minute video, letting them know that you can speak well, and that you can present yourself well, and that you will not embarrass them. Now, when it comes to print, you don't need a video, right? Because just going on print. So that means your press release has to be really, really tight. Because like Chasity said, I've seen it so often. All they're doing is copying and pasting your press release and putting that either in a magazine, or they're putting that in the newspaper itself. So whatever you want to go in that newspaper or in that magazine, you have to really, really make sure it's on that press release, because more often than not, they're not going to call you and conduct an interview. They're just going to go by what's on your press release. The difference between TV and radio is, even if you don't have something in your press release, you can still kind of slide it in really quick because you're speaking. Fights where if it's newspaper and or a magazine, it's written, it's print, and if it's not on your press release, chances are it's not going to make it there.
Right.
All right, so I wanted to give you guys some resources. The reason why you need a press release, again, we keep emphasizing that because it's so important. Your press release represents you. Your graphics, they represent you. And I'm a firm believer in, I don't think that anybody should be the world's best kept secret. And apparently you guys don't believe that either. That's why you're in this media class. Well, one of the biggest resources I think that's out there is blackpr.com. I think you have to pay them like $250, right? But you submit them your press releases and your graphics, and they actually shoot it out to their community. Now, we have major brands that have used them, like BET, VH1, blah, blah, blah. But they will also work with the individual like you and myself. Press release that Chasity wrote for my sister when she opened up her hair school, I actually shot it to blackpr.com. I think I paid them $200 or $250. They actually sent it out their newsletter to their email subscribers, and they put it on their social media site, which has close to 1 million subscribers. And what that did was that built my sister's credibility even more so. And people who may not have known about her school, now that are on social media, could actually see that. It also helped when Chasity sent those press releases out to the local stations to see, okay, she's getting major publication right now. She's getting major eyeballs on her stuff, because when you have a company like blackpr.com that's releasing your information, same company that's being hired by BET and VH1 and other major sources, that again builds credibility to you. Now, so what am I saying to you? Again, you don't have to have a viral video, but a viral video. But if you have a great press release and a great story in that press release and great graphics, you can submit yourself to blackpr.com, whether it's a book release, whether you're doing a conference, whether you, whatever it is that you think is newsworthy, you can submit it to them and pay to play. And to me, that's worth it. And let me tell you why, because you're going to get thousands, if not close to millions of eyeballs on what you do, number one. Number two is now you've got a Google proof that, hey, you exist, that you're important, you matter, that you're ranking up there with the big dogs because you're on blackpr.com. And when people search your name out or they search your event, it comes out on Google, because everybody, we're gonna do our background check, and Google and Facebook are our background checks, right? So it's there and people can find you. And then number 3, that's something that you can also pitch other media and say, hey, Black PR featured us on their Facebook website. They sent it out to their subscribers. Now other people in media, other producers are going to take you even more serious. And that's a paid, and I don't get paid for that, but I just think that that's something that people should know about. I don't get paid for plugging them. I just think it's amazing. And I think that if you have something coming out and it's newsworthy, I think you should pay that. Even if it's in your local area, you have to look at the long game. Because again, my sister's school is in Conway, South Carolina, but she was looking at the long game as it setting herself up as an entrepreneur and how she would look to other media source outlets. Now, helpareporter.com and postbag.co, as far as I remember, these sites are free up to so many times. And what you can do is you can actually look for media people, journalists, radio interviewers, as well as getting on TV, and tell them what you do, tell them who you are, and you can get an opportunity to be displayed on their blog sites, to be on their radio shows or TV shows or in their magazines. And I highly encourage that you pitch media consistently, so that you can get your brand out there. Another resource is my website. We have the Suham School of Success, where we have different classes such as these that can actually take you deeper to do other things. But that is, I think, pretty much it. I want to turn it back over. Let's see. Let's stop sharing my screen. I want to go back to you guys. I know we kind of went. We actually talked for about an hour. It's 5:57, 57 minutes. Want to know if there are any questions that any of you have. This would be a great time to ask it.
I have a question.
Go for it, Erica.
Is there anything that you should not tell them, or anything you should not put in your press release?
Well, when you do a press release, you want to make sure you're keeping everything on the subject that you're talking about, on your event or your book or whatever it is that you're talking about. You don't want to, if you're releasing a book, you don't want to go back and tell them, everything else you've done in your life. Now, at the end where you put your bio, you can put a little bit of that at the end. Pertinent information, where you went to school, if you were in the military. People love when people are in the military. They love that. So if you're in the military, tell people over and over. They absolutely love it. Put that information in. I'm telling you, they love it. Because that's one of the things that they said when they read Sue's bio when I worked at a TV station. Oh, she's a Marine. She sure is a Marine. So in your bio, if you have some information about yourself that you want to share, but it's not really connected to the event that you are actually doing or your book release or whatever it is, just list that information, throw that in. Don't have a whole 3 pages now, because they're not going to read all of that. I'm telling you from experience, they're not going to read all of it. Just try to condense. I know some of us have a very long biography because we've done so much, we've been places, we've had so many different careers, and that's beautiful. But just try to condense it, because people are not going to read a lot. We know this.
A quick question for you on I guess on that same topic. How long should a press release be?
If possible, 1 page.
Mm-hmm.
1 page is really, if you're getting into 3 and 4 pages, I know sometimes the second page may just have a little bit, and that's fine. But if you have something 3 or 4 pages, I can remember myself. Oh Lord, now how am I going to find the information that I really need? And make sure you put the information that is most important, where your event is going to be held, the time, all of that. Put that close to the top, because the producer can go ahead and use that in the intro. They could use that information to set you up and then let you go from there. Don't have it all at the end. We don't know what's going on. Okay, some of the press releases I looked at, I said, okay, so what's happening now? I got to start all over, because the pertinent information is all thrown in somewhere, mixed up somewhere. I have to look for it. And you know what? You may not get booked if you do that. So
Mm.
make sure it's clear, make sure it's concise, and make sure you have the pertinent information closest to the top.
Can you tell us a reason that you've gotten a press release in, and give us a reason, maybe even two, as to why you did not book somebody?
They didn't have all their information. I don't know where the event is going to be held. I don't have your phone number. I don't have your email. I have questions for you. Some people did that.
You
Some
actually
people
you got a press release without any contact info.
contact information is missing, or if I call the number has been disconnected. That means we have to chase you, and we're not going to do that. If you stop by at that time, people used to stop by the station. They don't have the press release. I know everybody does not have a website, so that's why you use your press release. You don't have your press release. Hey, I'm gonna have something down the road right there. What down the road? Tell me what you're having. Give me the location. Give me the time. You don't have your press release, and you're not even telling me what y'all come out. Y'all can't send nobody out there, man. No, because we don't know what's going on.
Okay, I just heard two more questions in there real quick. And I'm sorry, guys, get in, but get in where you fit in if you got a question, okay? But here's another question I have. How far in advance should someone send a press release for the event? So like if I'm doing a stage play in November, how far in advance should I send that press release to ensure I get on TV?
I would say at least by the first week in October, have that press release in somebody's inbox, because a lot of times the spaces get booked up really fast, because there's a lot of times on the shows, there's only one guest per show. So you got people doing like what you said. They called, or they sent in an email, or they went on the website and pitched their stuff, and producers look for that. And so it may be booked. You don't want to wait until the week before and say, oh, let me call a TV station. They might can come, or they might can help me out. You may not get in.
Okay. So I heard you say go on the website and be booked. So the great thing about it for me is you're my friend and you're a producer. So I got a lot of information. So another question I have, let's just say someone doesn't know a producer. Would they employ the same tactics that I did to go to the news station's website? Because I know that on local stations, they also have that as well. Be a part of the show or tell us something. Is that how people should reach out to stations if they want to be a part of it?
Yes, going on the website, and also sending an email. People even call. When you call, some people just don't know what to do, what the process is. So a lot of times people would say, hey, I'm having so and so. I'm calling to try to see if I can get booked on your noon show. What should I be doing? And then they get the process delivered to them right there just by making a phone call. But if a phone call is not working, because sometimes people don't have a receptionist, or the newsroom isn't answering, all of that, make sure you send an email, a follow-up email. I know a couple of times I said, well, I'm gonna just book this person so they can leave us alone, because they keep calling. And
Wow.
it didn't turn out well, but you know what? That person had their stuff together. They had their website or press release, they had their graphics, they were on time, they didn't embarrass us, they didn't come in with purple hair, none of that. You can't be doing all that stuff, people. You have to look a certain way too. That's very important. Make sure your look is together. And I saw somebody just popped up asking about the time. They said our connection is going out, in and out, but the time to send your press release, make sure you do it at least a month in advance, at least a month in advance. So, but make sure you're always together, because that's what I'm telling you, that's what's going to get you in.
Wow, that's really good stuff, because I never even thought about, because I'm so into emailing, I never even thought about actually calling the news station and asking about how I can be on there. But that's really good to know. And like you said, for the news stations that don't have someone at a desk, because I know that a lot of them are going to that where they don't have a receptionist, then but all of them have a website, and that's where you can go to get the email. And if they don't have an email, you can, which they do, but you can also fill out the contact information and tell them exactly what you want to do. Now
Right.
Let me ask you about this, because a lot of people don't know about this. I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't know about it until it actually happened. When we did our stage play Salon Drama, you actually had the news crew from a different news station. They actually came out on location, and meaning by on location, they came to us at my sister's salon and they interviewed us through 4 different segments. Can you talk a little bit about that process? Like, because should people pitch to actually go to the news station, or should people pitch and ask the news station to, hey, come on site and record what we're doing?
I would suggest you do it both ways, because a lot of times when the TV stations come on site, it's one, possibly you have interviewed with them before and you were very interesting. You had your stuff together, you were professional, and they want to come to get a glimpse of what you're actually doing. Two, sometimes when your event is relative to what's going on in the community, and especially if it's on a weekend, a lot of times TV stations don't have as many staff members working on the weekend, and they are looking for interesting things to do, interesting things to see and show the public. So they will come to you, they will come to your event to see all the positivity and to see the people. So I would do both. And I mean, chances are you at least get one. When you go to do the interview, you are promoting your event, what's coming up. But when somebody comes out to you, this is what's going on right now.
Oh, wow. I love, look, the light bulbs are going off, because now I'm sitting up here thinking of ways to promote before the show, and then actually trying to get a live broadcast during the show so that they can actually see what's going on. I really love that. Any other questions? Any other questions? Any other questions? And you can unmute yourself if you have a question, or you can type it in the chat. Okay, I don't see any. Chastity, what I would love for you to do is, I'm gonna pull this up here. I would actually love for you to tell people how they can get in contact with you. Let me ask you this. Are you doing press releases for the general public?
I am. You can reach out to me. My cell phone number is right there, 843-687-2508. My email, cpendergrass@cityofmyrtlebeach.com. I also have my personal email that I did not put on there. I apologize. cpendergrass81@yahoo.com. You could send me an email. You could text me on that cell phone number. That's my personal cell phone number. I answer it. I keep it by me all the time. You can text me if you don't want to talk to me and you just want to ask me a quick question. Say, hey, I was in the media arts training. I just had a question for you. I'll answer you. If you need a press release done, we can talk, we can chat, I will get it done for you. If you want me to send it to media for you, I am connected to media mostly in South Carolina. I have a few other outlets that I am connected to, but if you are in South Carolina, I am well connected to the South Carolina media industry, and I can help you get your stuff out to the media. Contact me. I'm here for you.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. One more chance, guys. Are there any questions? I'm trying to stop sharing my screen here. All right, cool. Any questions? Will we receive the slides or recording? Great question. Initially, the answer was no to the recording, but guess what? I'm going to send you the recording. Yeah, we initially advertised no recording available, but I will send you a recording. Give us about 24 to 48 hours and we'll send it out to you. All right. But Erica, we'll do that, but you got to let us know if you're applying for media and when you get booked. Notice I said if you're applying, because you got to make the decision to do so. And once you do so, I know you'll get booked. So you just got to tell us when. That's all. Yes. So if you do that, well, I'll send you the video before then, but I'm just trusting you. This is the honor system, okay?
my goodness. Yay, Erica. You got this, girl. I'll help you. Call me.
Awesome sauce. Any other questions? If you guys don't have any other questions, Chastity, is there anything you want to say real quick?
No, I'm just, please reach out to me. I love doing this stuff. I'm not connected with, well, I'm not in TV anymore, but I still have a lot of connections. If you have any questions, please call me, text me, email me.
Yeah, because she still does my press releases. And you've been with the city of Myrtle Beach for how long now?
For 5 years.
But you're still getting me bookings as of last year. And the
Mhm.
only reason why you haven't got me bookings this year, because I haven't really done anything because of COVID. So
Right.
definitely. Yeah, we'd love for you to do a review of the class on Facebook. That was going to be my next comment. We would totally appreciate that. Tag Chastity in it, as well as
Yes.
tag myself. We would totally
Yes.
appreciate it. Well, until next time, guys, we've got some other classes coming up. You can check them out at sueham.com. Please get with Chastity. I definitely vouch for her 100%. I've recommended other people to her, and she's definitely helped them to get on TV. The press releases she's done for me, the newspapers have just copied them and put it right in the newspaper, so it works. I've gotten radio bookings as well. I urge you guys to go out and Google, just put in the Google search bar, radio stations near me or TV stations near me, and then reach out and start contacting them. And if you don't want to do it, then pay a virtual assistant. There's some people that work for $3 an hour, and they can make those calls or send those emails on your behalf to get you some media bookings. All right. Well, until next time, remember to live, love, learn, and laugh. Don't quit. Follow your dreams to success. I can't wait to see you on TV, hear you on radio, and read about you in the paper. Good things, though. All right, y'all. Take care.
Bye.